update on Zach Cunha's condition?
Yeah, he is out this week. I think we've lost him for the year. We'll see kind of how everything comes together in terms of his treatment. But right now he is out, so Lucas will start for us on Saturday, and he'll be looks like our starter for the 2015 season as we go forward.
It's probably encouraging considering his performance last week. You had nothing but good things to say about the way he played against Southwest. If that is the case, if he's the guy for you the rest of the year, offensively speaking, how confident are you moving forward with him as the guy throughout the rest of the season?
Well, he's a good football player, and as I've said before, he had a really strong spring, summer, fall camp. I mean, he's done a really nice job. He's got a good handle on everything that we want to do. Lucas has grown up around football. His dad's been involved with the Oakland Raiders organization for a number of years. Lucas has been around the game forever, so I mean, I think the moment he understands it, he grasps what he needs to do. He's a good leader. He's good in the huddle. I felt like he was really positive that way in spring ball, and that's carried through to this point. So I believe just when he got in the game, I don't think that the players really expected anything less than a great performance by him, because he's been doing it throughout camp and throughout his time here at Minot State in practice. So again, he's the guy. We'll rally around that, and looking forward to seeing him play.
Tyler, a lot of mistakes, first game mistakes, you're always going to see those, some untimely penalties, some penalties probably they didn't really make you very happy, but what you saw last week, they're correctable, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Our team needs to understand that we're going to make good plays, and we have to act like we've been there before in certain areas, and I think that's something that they were a little surprised on, in terms of what the officials would do in response to an over-celebration, or we just didn't understand that moment well enough, and that's on me as a coach. I got to teach our guys that a little bit better, and then they got to execute it better. So we had opportunities to get off the field multiple times between third and fourth down, and extended drives through penalties, which ultimately cost us the game. So it's something that, yes, we can correct, but it's also something that it was an incredibly costly mistake, and so we've got to take ownership in that, our entire program, and get significantly better, so what happened against Southwest doesn't ever happen again.
In a sense, it probably has to be encouraging knowing that you're a couple of quick fixes away from possibly winning that game against Southwest. You're going to face a Winona team on the road now that struggled in its own right last year. You probably feel just as confident going into that one as you did last week against Southwest. Is it, did you see enough encouraging signs where you and your players can expect, to go out and compete for a victory this weekend on the road?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, for our team, I mean, they understand that they've invested a lot into this program at this stage, in terms of their conditioning and their on-field effort and practice and everything else. So they've invested a lot. So I think their confidence really is driven from that, in terms of how much work that they've put into this point. So we're playing a really good Winona State team. They're really well coached. They provide a lot of challenges, offensively and defensively. So for us, again, our confidence hopefully is driven from what we've done, since January to this point. But also, I think the team recognizes that their overall fitness, their overall understanding of what we're trying to do has gone way up, and that's allowed them to play even more confident on game day.
Can you tell us a little bit about Winona offensively? Are they, what do they like to do offensively?
Well, they've got a three-year starter coming back at quarterback, and he's a big, tall pocket passer. He can push the ball down the field. He's got a very strong arm. They've got a couple of receivers also, 6'2", 6'3", that can get down the field. So that's really a strength of theirs. They ran the ball well. They had a kind of a running back by committee approach. So ultimately, I think the biggest thing is just that they can be so explosive in that passing game with as I said, with that quarterback and those wideouts. So for our secondary, that's a big challenge. They've got to be able to step up to that, and we play a lot of man coverage, and we'll continue to do that all year, and they've got to handle that.
Defensively, will they throw anything different than what you maybe have seen or saw last week against Southwest?
They play 3-4 like Southwest, like many teams in our league do. I think they're a little bit different as they apply more pressure than other teams we've faced in years, or in the past. Mm-hmm. A little more so in Southwest. They do a variety of blitz looks, so we got to handle all that. they want to attack the offensive line and the quarterback. So like our secondary's got to be up to the challenge of those wideouts. Our up front line, our quarterback, we've got to make sure we're getting all the right checks and communicate well so we can handle all that pressure that they bring.
Does anything change in your playbook with Lucas taking over the starting role? We saw he's mobile. He can maybe run a little bit better than Zach. Is there any way that you're going to try and maybe utilize that? Or
Yeah, I mean, every player has their own individual strengths. I think as people saw, when Lucas got in the game, we didn't necessarily change our plan, and Lucas did very well within that. So, I mean, we'll run our stuff, and there's certain things that he might do a little better than Zach. Just likewise, Zach might have some things he does better than Lucas, and so as coaches, we've got to identify those things. I think that's always one of the biggest challenges that you have as a coach, and that you have to do is figure out what your players do well and get them in that position. So Lucas is smart. He can handle a lot, run game, pass game, that allow us to continue to be multiple, which we want to be, and we'll build around his ability to really manage the whole system out there on the field.
Tyler, other than Zach's injury, did you get out of Southwest pretty healthy?
Yeah, you always have your guys that are beat up a little bit from a football game, and as the season progresses, guys get bumps and bruises. But for the most part, we're healthy. We got a few guys that are getting treatment daily and doing a good job with that, and we've got a good medical staff taking care of them. So, but overall, we're healthy.
Just overall, looking back at the Southwest game, did you see the level of intensity that you were hoping for? I think maybe MSU fans knew that you guys had a full offseason under your belt. You're coming back. Everyone's energetic, excited about the improvements that you guys can have this year. And I think a lot of those fans were probably really excited. I mean, you guys held 3 different leads in that game. Is that the kind of intensity? Is that exactly what you were hoping for? I know we talked about maybe a few costly penalties, and maybe we're talking about a different result, but just the fact that you were in that game from start to finish and probably should have won it in the end, how encouraging is that for you as a coach moving on to Renown?
Well, the thing that I had mentioned to our team, we didn't meet with them on Friday, but we met with them Saturday morning. And the thing that I mentioned to them over and over was that our effort was very, very strong throughout the game. I mean, there was always a couple of plays you would want to go a little bit differently that way, but for the most part, our effort was strong in all 3 phases. And so that was an encouraging sign. I think our team is learning what it's going to take to be competitive in this league. But we also need to learn what it's going to take to win in the league, and I think that's where we have a learning opportunity. We were competitive, but to me, I don't want to be just competitive. I want our team to be on the right side of the win-loss column, and so yes, the intensity was good, but we need to do even more, and we need to be better, so that way that when the next game ends, or any games in the future, that we have a better chance to as I said, to be on the right side of the win-loss column.
You mentioned like a couple times, Coach, about your secondary versus the wideouts you're going to be facing and how you're going to be sticking with a man defense. Just you mentioned a couple times how challenging it is, but I mean, how confident are you feeling that the whole group will just pull through and play a good game?
Well, I'm confident in them. I mean, again, we've been pressing our secondary since spring to play more man coverage, and we've given them a lot of different looks, a lot of different passing combinations, a variety of route concepts that they've had to deal with that way. So, I mean, we're confident in those guys. We've got good corners. We've got a good set of safeties. I mean, we believe in those guys. I mean, and if we couldn't play that kind of defense, we certainly wouldn't. And so we feel like our secondary is a strength for us, and they're going to get challenged every single week because of what we're asking them to do. This week will certainly be a strong test for them, but we 100% believe in them, and that's why we're doing what we're doing defensively.
Isaiah in particular, he's a guy, we talk about Lucas stepping into a starting role. Isaiah was thrust into that starting role, and he co-led the team with 13 tackles. How pleased were you with his performance?
I was very excited for Isaiah. He's been a program kid for a long time. He's a local product from Minot High, so you want to see him do very, very well. The thing I liked about Isaiah is, I mean, he was productive on the stat sheet, but he also made all the calls and checks on the back end. He handled that very well, him and Marcel Brinson. And then the other thing with that is, I mean, he never came off the field. I mean, he was playing a number of special teams plays. I mean, he almost played 100 snaps on Thursday night. So I think that's a great sign of his conditioning and his commitment that he's put into the offseason. I mean, a guy playing 50 snaps is a load, but 100, I mean, that's something different altogether. So I mean, again, his conditioning level was very, very good coming into the game, and that allowed him to play as well as he did and be as productive as he was. I'm a big fan of Isaiah. Want to see him do well here and beyond. I was happy for him as a player and as a person, and looking forward for more out of him going forward.
It's also like impressive to see a guy step in, not only like play his role, but having a defensive player making all those kinds of calls. I mean, you have to be pleased with how he's taking your coaching, I guess, almost having another coach out there.
Well, yeah, he's been good. I mean, you know, on that back end, you have to have guys that can recognize formation, recognize down and distance, recognize, you know, personnel on the field, and you have to do that in about 5, 6, 7 seconds is all you get really to do all those things. And so the work is done in the week during practice, film sessions, meetings. You have to be willing to put in that time, which he certainly did, and that allowed him to do well. You know, as we tell our players all the time, I mean, you have to earn your respect. It's not given. You have to earn your results. They're not given. Isaiah certainly earned what he got on Thursday night, and I know that he's committed to continue that type of performance and even better as the season progresses. So again, yeah, we're very excited about him and glad that he's on our side.